Good evening, friends. Shirley here, and tonight I'm actually at home. This afternoon, I thought I'd work on some holiday projects that could possibly end up being a workshop. So I just thought where I had all this product out that I would pop on and maybe show you a little bit and how easy it is to use Iron Orchid Designs. Now, if anyone asks any questions during this, I'll answer them right afterwards because it's really hard to kind of do both. But Iron Orchid Designs is IOD, and this is product that we carry in the store. This is one of the transfer books. And in this book, this particular one, if you haven't used these before, it is 8 sheets in the book. It's the size of the sheets. These are a one-time use, but they're amazing. So anybody can use these. Like, you don't have, I hear people all the time say, I'm not that creative. You don't have to, it's not like toll painting or anything like that. These are a one-time use application, but in this booklet, each sheet is on, hope you can see this here, each sheet is on a grid paper. And you can see that's a backing that's on it. And I really like this one. This one is called, just to show you, they're Whispering Willows. That one came out this summer. But I chose this one because it has some really cute little animals in it, like there's deers and birds and stuff like that. So this isn't necessarily, I'm kind of blending some of the products here tonight. So this is really sweet, and all you do is cut out, I'm going to show you out of this book. So this is the 8 pages. I'm hoping that, I know lighting at home, I have pot lights over me, so I'm hoping you can see okay. So basically there's 8 sheets, and I'm going to come a little closer so I can show you. Let's see there. 8 sheets in the booklet, and you get all these different characters and stuff in it. And you can do a lot of projects with one of these packs. So for instance, the little guy I cut out of there tonight is this little teeny fox. And you can see this is a backing on it, and it's really thin. It's on grid paper, so it helps you to line it up. So before I get too far with that, I wanted to show you that I'm going to use IOD transfers. This is a pack from last year, last Christmas. And like I said, in the booklet, you get all these images, which is tons and tons. And so I'm still working through and using. So these are left over from last year's. And then we have a few of the packs left. I think we're down to, it might even be 1 left now today because they've been selling. These ones are limited edition, meaning once they're gone, they're gone. So you can shop online with us as well to reserve your copy of things so you can drop in and pick it up, or we can ship it to you. So we use Canada Post, flat rate shipping. So there is this one from last year that I'm using tonight as well with the animals. And the other thing I want to show you I'm going to use is stamps to make these really cute little gift tags. And I posted a picture earlier to see if I can come closer. I'm used to using like a handheld camera here. So this is what I'm going to be making. It's just on a craft paper, and then I use a stamp and a transfer. So these are gift tags. So I'm thinking I might do a workshop with those. They're so adorable. So a couple of things with this, so that they're just plain gift tags, right? So I chose the craft paper versus the white ones. And then I kind of sponged on or tapped on a little bit of diluted paint. So I'm going to start with that first and just show you while those dry, and then I'll talk about the other products. So I have just some casement white. This is Fusion Casement White. I have it on a little plate, and I watered it down. So I probably, I'm going to say, I'm going to use this one instead. Probably like almost 50-50 for water. And I have craft paper down here, so I find it absorbs up stuff. So I'm just going to blot that off a little bit. It's called offloading when you kind of blot off. And then I'm just going to hit a couple of spots. It leaves like a different texture depending on what cloth, or you could use a cotton ball or anything like that. So it just kind of looks like snow, a little bit of a white background for this. So I'm going to do that. You could paint them all white if you wanted to, but I'm just kind of like sponging a little bit on for for a different effect. And I know I should probably move my camera a little bit closer, but then I'm going to lose my whole counter space here that I'm going to be working off of. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. So, and then I'm going to set them aside and kind of let them dry. And I'm just going a little bit heavier in some spots. And actually the way I blotted those, they almost look like, from here, they look like a little bit like snowy pine cones. So I've done 2 now with paint, and they'll just take a couple of minutes to dry. So I'm just going to tuck that aside. I got so much going on here. So once those are dried, I'm then going to get this background, is I'm going to do, and I posted a picture of this so you can see it kind of closer. I love these. These are so much fun. And you can do anything you want. So I'm going to stamp a background on them, and that's using the IOD. These are called Décor stamps. This is one that came out this summer. I absolutely love this one. So what they are, they're silicone. Now this one's one big sheet, but a lot of them are, and I have some here, a collection on a sheet. So again, this is one from last year, and it's a pine cone. So I just kind of loosely cut around them. And just to show you what they're stamps. You know, we used to use rubber stamps that were on the wooden blocks. But the problem is with a wooden block is that if you want to do something that is, you know, round or not a flat surface, a wooden block, you couldn't get it. So this is silicone, so it's flexible. So with that, you can do just about anything. You can stamp on anything. And so this is the stamp part. So it's very flexy, and you can use ink or you can use paint. You just have to clean them up afterwards. Tonight I'm using ink with these. So, and I keep them on the original little image. That's what it's supposed to look like. So that's just one of the small ones. Oh, I had some here. This is like a large pine cone. So there is Christmas stamps as well. These is like a woodland theme one. And I think those are last year's. But the one great thing about this product is that each year you can build on it. And, you know, or get together with friends, and maybe one friend has this stamp and one friend has this set. You know, you get together and you do kind of craft nights, which is really fun. Or you can drop in to see us, and, you know, we might be having a class that then you can practice and play with this. So this is what I'm hoping to do. So if you're interested, I think Facebook keeps changing, so I'm hoping I did this right. There's a poll there, and it says, would you like to do a workshop using these products? And if the answer is yes, then we can do a small class at the store. So probably 6 people, and it would just be a variety of products, and you can kind of play with it and make some different stuff. But I really thought the gift tags, you could make a set of, you know, 6 or a dozen gift tags. That would be really fun for a class. So I wanted to show you how easy it is in case you don't want to do a class or you live farther away and you can't join us. So this is the stamp, but I'm only using a small section, obviously, because my tag is small. This would be great if you wanted to use it to make it look like a full old newspaper. So furniture, use it with paint. I love the paint with it. I just roll it on. So you can see where it's red there. That's my red ink. So all I'm going to do is use my ink pad. Now, every ink pad, so these are the new designs. They're in a flat case like this. This one's a green one that I've done. So we have lots of different bottles of ink. And I'm going to tell you that, so you buy the plain pad and then you load it. And this is the bottle of ink. Now, once you ink this pad, it's forever green, right? But this one bottle, I opened this one. This is stone gray, and it's to here. I've been using this one for like 2 years. So even though I know these are $25.95, like this product goes a long ways, and you get to use it, reuse a lot of it, and it will last. And so it's not a one and done kind of thing with the inks and the using the molds and stuff like that. So with this one, I've already inked my stamp. So this is my red. And if I wanted to load an ink pad, it's just like any ink pad that you would buy and load. This is the bottle of ink. And This one's already loaded, so I don't want to do it again. So basically, you're just going to take your ink and you're just basically kind of working it in to your pad even, making sure not to get drips outside of the pad because you don't want to get too much ink. That's it. And then when your pad gets a little bit too dry, because you used a lot of that color, then all you do is re-ink it. You add more ink to it. Really simple. So I have Stone Gray, which I love, love, love. I use that one a lot. And right this time of year, well, even summertime, New Grass is called. It's a really pretty green. And then this red one, which is Tomato. And this is a really nice red to use, and that's what I'm using for the Christmas. So in that one little section, all I'm doing is taking my ink pad and just even pressure, I'm just kind of inking down a section here. Being careful not to squeeze out too much. And I'm just going to cover my ink pad so it's not left open. And with this, I'm just going to take, this is pretty much dry now, right? So it's just a really thin piece of paint, coated paint on the craft paper, so it's going to dry really fast. And like if you're working on craft paper, you can even stamp off and see what you're doing. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to line it up and lay it over to get a section of this. And I kind of like this section because it has like capital letters, it's got a postage stamp there. And with that, I don't want it to slide. I'm just straight down pressure with this, okay? So all you do is push straight down, make sure there's full contact with all your area. And if you're working on craft paper, any excess that's bigger than the surface that you're stamping, it will go onto the paper. So this one, I'll just show you this up close, see if you can see it here. I'm trying to watch the camera and the monitor at the same time so you can see there. So there's the ink on top of what I've already done is with the paint. I'm going to let this one dry because the ink is an oil-based product, so it does take a bit to dry. So right now, just to show you the two of those, kind of fun. I love doing this, so it's so simple. And like I said, it's not like I was never one to do toll painting. You can see where I've added this one, the transfer. And the transfers are really thin. They're like an onion skin, like that little thin film in the layers of onion. So it doesn't feel like a sticker, and that makes it look realistic. So that one I had finished. This one I just stamped, so I'm gonna let that dry before I do that one. And I had another one. There it is. This is my dry one. That's my wet one. Okay. So this one was already dried. I try to work in phases, steps here, so that way I can show you because there's dry times and all this stuff, right? So this one already was done. And then all I'm going to do is add a little piece of something that I've cut out from a transfer. So all of these, again, are on grid paper. And you just loosely cut around them. And you're going to rub the image off. And I had one here that I thought, that one might be pretty too. I had one that oh, here it is. This one is just kind of like pine or spruce or fir, and it has some cones on it. So I'm going to take that and add it onto my little gift tag. And the back just comes off. And basically with these, you get a little plastic tool. And I don't know what I do with my plastic tool. It's probably here somewhere. But meanwhile, it is somewhere. I have kind of a popsicle stick tongue depressor. That will work too. So I'm going to take my image and just to show you so you can see up close what this is going to look like. Everybody watch the camera there. So this is my grid paper with the image on it, and I'm going to lay it on here and going to rub it on. And then that's another one. So, you know, if you were doing these to do a set of them, you do all the white paint and let it dry, stamp all of them, and then by the time you get them all stamped, you go back to the first one. It's kind of like a little assembly line. And I'm going to add this. So with the transfers, they're so easy to use. So all you do is you lay your image on to where you want to use it. and then you take your little plastic applicator is what it comes with, but you can use pretty much anything. And all you're doing is you're rubbing, and you're basically, I call them like tattoos for furniture. Basically, you're just kind of rubbing a little bit, and you're activating because you're getting it off of the back of the sheet. And maybe this will or not work. Oh, there we go. And so what happens is you get a little air bubble happening. And once I get the air bubble, I just kind of roll with that, the image and the paper. And so it just takes a second. Now this one's fainter looking, but it's really pretty. So let me show you these two together. So if I were making holiday tags, you can do this with gift bags, of course, and wrapping paper. So you can see it there. So this is the one that I just did. This is the one I did just before. And you see the stamp here. So it's like, it's got a postage stamp. They're just so pretty, right? Simple, simple, simple. So I kind of thought this would be a fun class. Like people could come, they could use all of our stuff and just kind of create what they wanted to. You don't have to make them all look the same. I got this thing about old like textbooks and papers, newspapers, love it. So this is like really cool. And you could even frame them if you wanted to. You could do images that you could do on frames. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you tonight, was making your own gift tags. And this product makes it simple. So think of gift tags, gift bags, gift wrap. There's just so many things that you can do. So I'm going to set these aside, and I'll finish that one off in a minute. I'll put them over there, get them on my way. And I don't know if comments, there's no comments there, so okay. And I'll answer the comments later. The other thing I wanted to show you was using the IOD molds. So if you haven't used the molds before, so this is a brand new one. To show you this is a brand new one that's in the package. So these are food grade safe, these molds. And if you're going to use them for food product, then they stay food, okay? Other options, do all the food projects you want with them and then keep them for like home decor stuff. But if you are doing home decor like I am, like clays and molds and resin, you can't use it for food. So one or the two. These molds are, this is the new, the baubles. These are like Christmas ornaments. And I'm going to open this one up because I hadn't opened it yet. So these guys, like I said, are oven safe up to 400 degrees. A lot of people make cookies and use fondant and stuff like that. We'll use these. I just want to show you the detail with these. So they have high resolution, and you can use them with chocolates as well. They have a little lip around the edge, and that prevents like spillover, and you get clean edges. So it's one of the things that I love about their products. So this again is silicone. If you're keeping it for food, it's easy to wash. You can go in the oven on a cookie sheet. You do sugar cookies. There's actually a whole IOD Facebook page that basically they're just doing cookies and all that kind of stuff, baking with this product. So this is amazing with the molds. I'm not using it for baking. I'm using it with the air dry clay. And with the clay and the molds, what I'm creating, I have a picture frame here. And what I'm doing is some little pine cones that I'm going to glue on my picture frame. And even with the little pine cones, for instance, now these are still wet because I just made them. And I'll show you a little bit of the detail up close there. Maybe I can, but I was thinking as I was doing those, so this one where I just put the little pine cones on, I could actually make it a little bit 3D and glue my pine cones on. I paint them first and then add them to my image to make like a little 3D image gift tags. Like that would be really sweet as well. So you can glue these on anything. I just use wood glue for these, but I'll see if I can bring if I dare move the camera. Okay, so let's see if I can just bring this in for a minute so I can show you. Okay, so Where are we at here? Okay, this is the picture frame here, and you can see the little pine cones that I've done, right? So really, really kind of cool. So these are done with the air dry clay. I'm gonna put this back. See if I get this lined up again. Apologize, guys. Let's see. Okay, so I was going to make these and I'm going to glue them onto my frame, but let me show you how to make some. So I have some partially drying. You can glue them on while they're wet and you can paint them while they're wet. I usually let them sit about 15, 20 minutes just so they start to kind of crust over a bit. So you have to be very gentle to paint them while they're wet. You don't want to use wax or anything as sealant on them till they're completely dry. And because they're thick, they usually take, you know, a day or whatever to completely harden. So you just want to be careful not to damage them. So I'm going to put that aside and show you using this one. I'm going to make some little Christmas trees. What you can do with the clay. Now, the blocks of clay, and this one's been on the go for a while as well. We sell all these online. This is $22.95. So we have an online website, and it might pop up as a link there that you can reserve or do an order and then select pickup if you're picking up in the store, or select shipping. So we do ship in Canada only. So all I'm doing with the clay is and it's soft, so I'm pinching it off and gonna get a little chunk there. So my clay does not dry out. I'm just gonna rebag it. I just use a Ziploc baggie. So that way, and I just stuck on my paint. That way, it doesn't dry out. I just want to pop that over there. Okay, so with my clay, I'm just going to work on it with my hands, and I'm going to do this kind of medium-sized pine tree or Christmas tree. And so I'm using my fingers to kind of push it in the mold here. I need one of those cameras that, you know, I can kind of like be up overhead. Okay, normally I do my videos at the store, but I was in full craft mode today at home, so I just thought I'd pop on and share that with you. Okay, so I'm going to wipe the paint off my hand, and I'm going to show you what to do there. So you push it in, and this is where I like to use, I'm just going to move this out of the way for a minute so I don't do that again. I like to use like either a popsicle stick or something flat to kind of push the clay into all the crevices, because these guys have great detail. Some have little areas. And then if you drag this across, you just kind of pull back. You can do it with your thumb too. You can pull back the extra clay. So I'm just going to push it in. And then I use my wet clay to kind of pick up around the areas, because, you know, I don't want to waste any product. I want to keep using what I have. And that way, it's going to, when you want to make sure the back is flat, so that way when you glue it down, it's got a flat surface, so it's going to have full contact. So it's going to work for you. It's going to last. Okay. So I got my extra clay and I just pinched it off, and again, I'm just going to keep that in my hand there. If the clay gets too warm, like being in your hand, you can always use cornstarch, and you can dust your molds with cornstarch. Now, I haven't done this in a while. I was making some, so this may or may not. And then because these are flexy, you just basically bend them, and you can just gently get it started there. So I should have cornstarched this one. There we go. You can just bend them and you can flex them out. And so they're so pretty. And now I'm going to cornstarch that one again. And then what I like to do is just go back and pick up my extra clay, so that way there's not a lot left over for cleanup as well. So I made a little teeny tree. See if I can hold it there for you and show you. And you know, these are so pretty, and they have lots and lots of detail with them. Just to show you there, they're so nice. And the clay is wet, yes, but you can you can glue them on. So on my little frame, I might even just glue that one there on the edge, or I can add it to gift tags or any image that I'm doing. So that's how simple it is to use the clay and molds. And so I'll show you. This one also has a little mini tree, has a bigger tree, some pine cones, it has holly, and so there's lots and lots of different. I wonder what I want to do. I'll do another little. I'll do a couple of these little pine cones here. There's two different styles of the really small ones. I really love these because you can glue them and put them on anything, like picture frames. Like I said, if you have old frames or just plain little wooden frames, you can add those. And then I'm going to show you when you paint them up, because the ones that I made earlier before I started live, so there's another one there I just popped out. A lot of detail in those, so it's pretty amazing. When you paint them, oh, there's my little thing I was looking for. Okay, so when you paint them up, I'm just going to move those over. You can enhance that detail, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use tonight Antiquing Glaze by Fusion. So, okay. And so also, so that's my clay I wanted to show you. And I made some ahead. So I was like, I already was into the throes of this, and so I pop on live. Have you tried any of this product before? I know people come in and they're afraid to try it, but really, like, it's simple, it's easy, and yeah, I know I hear people say, yeah, but you've been doing this a long time. No, I've been painting like furniture and walls and trim and doors and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I've been crafty over the years, but all of this is new to me, just like it is to many of you. IOD products have only come out really, like, we've only picked it up a couple of years ago. So, I get the chance to play with it because we have to open products to do workshops and classes, which we had stopped for a while because of COVID, but we're hoping to be able to do some small classes and get back to that. And this board, I wanted to show you this. So I was working on, this is just a wooden craft board, and I was working on this, and I'm gonna, again, come a little bit closer, and hopefully you can see it here. So it's 2 layers of paint. I painted it black, and then I did casement white, really thin. I whitewashed it and sanded it back, like, just ever so slightly. And then I used a script, you can see if you can see that there, a script stamp, so it looks like words written on it. And so this is my big stamp sheet that was script, and I used stone gray. So it's just like a deep grayish, but we do have black as well. But I like the gray because it looks like faded old handwritten in books, right? So we get lots of books at the store, and always in the front is like, dedicated or a Christmas gift or whatever. And the penmanship, it's amazing. So that's what that reminds me of. That's why stone gray is one of my favorites. But you can do it any color if you want. And then I thought I'm going to add an image and glue this frame on my board using my little fox. So, and before I do that, I'm going to let those dry a little bit longer, I think, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to rub on and do this transfer here. So what I did was I took my frame and drew a little pencil line so I knew exactly where it was going to sit, the inside of my frame. This is one of the spruce branches, which is the transfer, and I'm going to put it here on the side because I'm going to put a little fox in here. So with pine cones, and it's going to be, kind of woodland kind of feel. And this is my little fox I'm going to be using tonight. So, and the fox and all the animal and critters, if you're just joining, is in the transfer pack called Whispering Willow. So this one has rabbits and badgers and birds and flowers and lots of mushrooms, and they're just beautiful. So that's the one with the little fox in it. And so I now know this is going to sit right here because I drew a line on my board, okay? so with this, I'm going to lay that right there. But before I do that, I'm going to take my paper backing off. So I'm just going to separate and see the grid lines. So when I'm doing furniture, the grid lines make it really easy to line it up. And so your images, especially script and stuff, you want straight. So the grid paper helps you do that. Also, if you're cutting straight lines, it helps you do that as well. So I'm going to lay this here. So it's right along the edge and to the bottom. I'm going to move that over a wee bit. Okay. So I don't want to, this particular one I don't want going off. So I'm going to move my frame for a minute. And I'm just going to take my hand and kind of press it down. And what that does is kind of like really kind of starts it for me. And just to kind of show you, and again, my lighting is terrible here at home. So this is it with the grid paper. And now I'm going to start rubbing and lifting that off. And that's going to add that branch down the side. And this is the little tool I was telling you that comes with every pack that you buy at Transfer. So this is just like a little plastic tool. And so basically it's so simple. You just kind of start rubbing, probably like tattoos, right? But you can put them on signs or, gosh, I've even put them on pillows, believe it or not. You'll get a little bend, little flex with it, but you can, I've seen people do them on leather purses using some of the images, leather purses on canvas bags, a back of jean jackets, the whole thing, right? You can also use the stamps with the inks on fabric as well. So if I wanted to do an apron or tea towel, and just talking about that, I have little it's cute. This is made of old grain sack. I'm going to be stamping these for the holidays. I got 4 little socks because there's 4 of us in our family here at home, and to put on my fireplace mantle for the holidays. And I'll show you that when I get that done. So it's another project that I have in mind. So all I'm doing is going through and kind of rubbing. And you can hear the paper crackling a little bit because what I'm trying to do is separate it from it. And you can gently lift sometimes. Once you get, like what I'm trying to get is a little air bubble going. There we go. So once I get an air bubble, there's my bubble there. Basically, if I push that air bubble, it releases the transfer from the backing. So it makes it so much easier. So you don't have to press it hard. I'm pushing the air bubble. So I'm just pushing that air bubble right through and see how much faster it is now. All you have to do is get that air bubble started. So we're going to keep going. And I'm almost done. A little spot there and a little spot there. And before I lift it, I just put pressure on it. And then I just gently pull it back. If you hit a spot that you miss, you can go back and do that. I'm just pulling this off. And there's my blank paper. And that image that was on it, and this is silky smooth, and it does not feel like a sticker. To show you there, I've added that to the side. It is so pretty. So, let's see if I can do this. I need a camera person with me at home. I'm home all by myself tonight, this evening anyhow. I'll be home later. This image is what I just added to this board. So now I have 2 layers of paint, a whitewash over black. I've stamped on a script, and this is just a bow that I've added. And let's see, I want to add, I'll probably tuck in some greenery there too. But before I go too far, I'm going to add my fox. So I picked this guy, and he's going to sit inside my frame. Now I'm going to have to cut him off. Sadly, I'm going to cut his feet off because my frame is not quite big enough, but that's okay because he'll still look really, really cute framed up. So I'm just going to see where I need to remove. I'm going to cut right across there. So I'm just going to trim his legs off here. Where did I, there, that line. Okay, and again, this is where grid paper comes into play. So he lost his feet, that's okay. Now, I'm going to take that again, and so because I've taken pencil and I've I have that line there, so it's like I know where this guy needs to sit. I'm going to put him there. Now he can either be off to one side or I can center him. So it's entirely, all of this is easy creativity for anybody to do. Now, I think I'm going to have him sit off to the side. So I'm going to put him there before I remove that backing. So remember that backing has to come off before I do that. I'm going to push him down to that line. And I'm going to check it with my frame again, right, to make sure that he's going to sit where I want it. And I think that's so pretty. So by him being offset, this little fox being offset, then I get some of the script coming through in the background. Okay, so I'm going to, so that's going to work out. I'm going to like that. And there's no wrong with any of this. It's, you do whatever you want, right? That's the fun of all this product. And if you don't like it, you can try again. And I always say with furniture, painting furniture, and these are great to put on furniture, by the way, painting furniture is like, it's just paint. And if you're not happy with it, you just do it again. Simple, right? And this is all water-based product, so it's with the paint and everything, it's water-based, and so there, like that's going to sit right in there. Okay, so I'm just again rubbing that on with my hand, and then I'm going to use my little tool. I'm going to get rid of some of this garbage out of the way. So easy for me to find everything because I got lots going on here. Move that over there. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to quickly go through and kind of make contact with all the image the first time, just to make sure that it's on. And then I'm going to start rubbing, and so I got an air bubble right away there, and I'm just going to go with my air bubble. Surprised my two cats aren't jumping up here being nosy, because I have two cats. One's a big Maine Coon, and I got to tell you, he's a little shy, but the other one, he's a Norwegian forest cat, not so much. He likes to get into everything. So, working that air bubble, I just got a little spot left to do here on the end, just down by his hind. Okay, and let's see if I can lift that up. There we go. And once it releases, it kind of just, if it's sticking, then that's because the image is still attached. There. So, oh my goodness, handsome. Wow. Let's show you this. Okay. So you can see that. So we've added this guy, we've added down this. So our board is coming together. Oh, it's gonna be so pretty. And then I'll take this to the shop. So if you want to drop in, and if you're close enough, you can drop in and see us. You can take a look and see what I did, right? So this is so simple and it's fun. Okay. So this is where my frame is going to go around there. And before I glue that on, I'm going to do my frame. I'm going to paint my pine cones and glue them on. Oh, by the way, I got to say, I absolutely love this. This would be really sweet if I can, if it's not stuck, so I didn't put the backing on it. Do you see this? This is like some berries and little pine cones. Little piece here. Well, I just wonder if I can give a little crown to this little fox, if that would work. A little Christmas crown. Maybe? Why not? I'm going to go for it. So all I'm going to do is, again, you can layer the transfers. You can put one over another if you want to. So when you get into like a lot of graphics and roses and flowers, you can layer, you can build on it. So that way it's not just script. So this is, again, using the IOD stamps. And now I'm applying transfers. I've done a little bit of whitewash on my frame. This was just a brown rough frame. It's just cheap from the dollar store, honestly. And then I think I've had this one for a bit. And then the IOD clays. Then I'm going to show you how to paint those up. So let's see if I can get this one started with a bubble. There you go. Sometimes if you lift the paper, you can force a bubble underneath. Okay. And there's the little crown. Oh my goodness, that is so adorable, guys. You see a little crown on the fox? Look at that. It is so, so sweet. And the ears are just peeking up above it. Oh, wow. That's going to be really, really cute. Might be a Christmas gift to myself. I am always making stuff and painting for other people. So sometimes I don't get a chance to make anything for myself. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. So this is our board that I've been working on. And I'm now going to glue these little pine cones on. And you can layer them. So I'm going to take these off. And I'm just going to move them there. I can add more afterwards, but I'll show you what. So these are just little plain white because they're air dry clay. Now they're pretty dry on the top, but I can feel the moisture. You can feel that coolness or dampness. You can feel the moisture inside. So they're still wet. And what I'm going to use is because I repair furniture, I use wood glue by LePage's for everything. So if you need to repair furniture, a lot of times I'm dealing with antique stuff that's well over 100 years old. Furniture in the 1800s a lot of times had no nails. Everything would have been just glued together. Over the years, of course, the old horse glue dries out. And so I have to kind of take things apart and re-glue. I'm going to use an old paintbrush. This one's just a cheap one, so it's not one of my good ones. Don't use good ones with glue. But I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'm just going to put some on my plate, and I'm just going to glue down here. So I'm just going to do a quick little swipe in the center. Now, carpenter's glue dries a little bit on the yellow side, so you don't want it showing, but just a wee bit of glue on the bottom. And then I'm going to drop this kind of into place there. And I can probably slide it in. Now, carpenter's glue will kind of set up in about 10 minutes, dry time. So we use this for class for when we're doing signs and stuff and layering wood pieces. But if we're doing furniture, of course, and you're repairing a chair, you need to let it dry at least 24 hours, the whole weight, right? But we're just doing signs. So I did 2 there up in this corner. So you can see there. And then I'm going to glue this little one, layer it over top there. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of wood glue on the back. And I'm going to put it right there. Now, because these are still wet, damp, I can bend it a little bit. So if I wanted to do a flower pot, for instance, and they're round, I use Fusion paint as well as Country Chic. So when you use clay that's damp, you can actually bend it to your image. That's why don't let it dry hard, because if you try to bend it or your surface isn't flat, you're going to what? You're going to snap it, right? So I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to show you up here, right? I just did one little corner, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll probably add a little pine cone up there, and then I'll probably do the same thing over there. But I'm just going to glue these ones on quickly. I'll put that one there in that corner. So that way I can paint it up so you can see. Now this one's more moist than the other ones because they haven't been made that long, right? So if you haven't tried this product, oh my goodness, you can pop in and see us or send us a message. I'll try to answer any questions afterwards because I'm doing this by myself tonight. And if I want to, I could add something to the other side there, okay? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that aside for now. I'm actually going to put water, this is wet, so it's on top of that, so that way my glue brush does not dry out. Get rid of some garbage there. Bring this back over. Okay, so Now I want to do, I can paint these, or I can use like a wash, which is thinning your paint out. Now, these are already white. I'm okay with them being white. I could paint them green. I could do, there's metallics. This one is by Fusion, is metallic champagne gold. It's a really pretty, just gives a little bit of shimmer. So I could do that. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Fusion Antiquing Glaze. So the glaze, I'm going to show you here so you can see it. This is a water-based glaze. I love using waxes, but the thing is with wax is you have to remove it before you can paint over it. So glaze is water-based, and so that means you can paint right over it if you change your mind. So what I'm going to do with this is basically, I gotta rinse my cloth first, guys. Just 1 second. You just brush it on and then you wipe it back. So I need to get a fresh cloth here so I can do that without any paint on it. So you can paint your pine cones first. If you want to make them green, but I'm just going to glaze them and show you what they look like. We could do black on them too, but there's lots of options. So, okay. So I'll just get some of this paint off me because I'm messy. I should have had gloves on. Okay. So I basically have my jar here. I've already shaken it. It is kind of looks like a mustardy brown when it's fully, like when you first brush it on, but it actually dries to a nice antiquing. When we think of like aged patina on something, that's kind of what it's supposed to look like. And I'm a waste not kind of person, so I'll actually use what's on the back of the lid first. And I'm going to brush this on and kind of work it so it's kind of like a goldy color, because pine cones are kind of, you know, that color really, aren't they? I'm just going to gently, because these are still not 100% dry, I'm going to push it into all the little detail. I might go over it with a black wash too, I don't know. And then all I'm going to do is take my damp cloth, and without squishing it, right, because we don't want to squish it, I'm just going to pad off, or you can wipe the detail. And you can keep brushing and do the whole frame that way if you want to as well. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, and I'm going to go around these two little guys. I add it, and it kind of just gives like a little bit of that. I can just kind of add a little bit more on there. An aged look, right? So, and again, dealing with antique furniture is kind of what I do. Sometimes I paint 100-year-old piece. I don't want to make it look brand spanking new, right? Sometimes that's what clients want, and that's fine. But it's not my thing. I like old. I like chippy. I like, you know, kind of a little bit of character to it. So let me show you this now. So instead of it being all white, see if I can get it in there. To show you. I can't see my camera. There we go. So you can see the detail. So it just settles in, and you wipe back the extra, and it's got a little bit of a brown goldy kind of color. And if I wanted to use a metallic afterwards on that, I could as well, right? So let me show you that. Like if I wanted, this is the champagne gold. I could brush that on if I wanted to have like a little bit of a sparkly bling as well, but I have to just let this dry for a few minutes first. And you can see one side of my frame now has a little bit of a like aged patina look, and the other side does not. So, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do the other side, and I might add a few more pine cones to it. So pretty simple, right? Put it on, lay antiquing glaze, put it on. You can either blot it or you can wipe it. You just wipe it back. So this is a really rustic little frame. So with that now, I'm going to end up I'm going to put the glass in, and I'm going to glue this on. And I'll show you by bringing this over here. So it will have the glass in. I'll splatter some kind of white on it to make it look like snow. It's just like, it's so cute. And there is no wrong with this, right, guys? Like, you can do whatever you want. But I wanted to show you how easy the molds are, how easy all this product is. I'll turn it this way. And then I'm just going to wood glue my frame on there. But we have like IOD transfer, we have IOD stamps, we have IOD clay and molds, and as simple as that, made a really pretty little framed Christmas gift for someone, a little wall art. So if you would like to take a class or a workshop like this, or a drop-in class at the store, comment below and let me know. If people are interested, I can teach it. You know, I realize things are a little tight right now money-wise. This won't be an overly expensive class like some of the others. Gift tags, I'm not sure where we'd be at with doing like gift tags, gift bags, probably like a $25, $30 class. Something like this, material-wise, might be a $65 class. But, you know, there will be different price points. We'll do them at the shop on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. Small classes, maximum 6 people, because we are sharing materials, and hopefully you get a chance to kind of like play with some of the stuff. And if not, if you're from away, thank you for following our page. I know Facebook has made so many changes, or Meta has made so many changes. We used to have an amazing organic reach with Facebook, at about 120,000 people interacting every 28 days. And now it's less than about 3,000. So as a small business, I cannot afford to pay Facebook money every month. And it's, you know, for 400 people to see something, they want something like $50. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I get it. Big corporations, go after them. But for us, we're so small, we can't afford that. And Facebook has allowed us to grow. So how you can help us, if you love what we're doing, so we can continue to do what we love, is to like, comment, or share. And but the big thing is, like, even a little emoji, a happy face, something like that. That keeps us in your feed as well as getting it kind of out there with organic reach. I hope you enjoyed some of the stuff I did tonight. I'm just here playing with some product and thought I'd pop on live and show you a few of my projects. So I will bring some of these to the shop tomorrow. I'm there all day tomorrow. We're in 10 to 5:30. If you're looking for fall decor, it's 20 to 50% off. There's some pillows that are 50% off, and switch mats and flags are 20% off. So there's a range of items. This is your last chance to kind of get them, is this week, because we're setting the store for Christmas, for the holiday season, this Sunday and Monday. So we will be closed on Sunday, so that way we can tip out Christmas. So anyhow, thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions, as always, send it off a messenger. We'll try to answer everybody's questions, and have a great night.